What's up, everybody? It's me, Jordan Danielle from the Lo-Fi Experience, and I am back with another creative highlight series for my platform, the Lo-Fi Experience. I'm so excited to have today's feature. We're gonna go right into it, but before we get started, could you just take a moment just to introduce yourself and tell the people who you are?
Hi, you guys. My name is Amir Halim. I am a clothing designer, entrepreneur, and everything else in between, and I'm here on the Lo-Fi Experience.
Yes, and today, can you tell them where we're at today?
Today we are inside a place that I call basically my home because I spend my time here more than my real home. So
Yes.
This is Relax Studio, my shop, my screen printing place, my sanctuary.
Yes, awesome. So with that being said, obviously this is the Creative Highlight Series. This is just a series where I take time just to bring people, creatives, visionaries, people within the community who I feel are like really doing really good work, who I want to bring exposure to. So today we are here at Relax Studio and we're just going to be talking to Amir a little bit about his process and how he got started. So that's actually one of my first questions to ask you. I know I've kind of been following your journey for the past few years, but you've obviously progressed and grown since then. So can you just tell people a little bit of how you got started, what inspired you to get started with screen printing, with design, and how that led you up to where you are now?
Okay. So mostly like how I personally got started was everything, and I know it sounds like a big like, oh dang, this stuff kind of just fell up on you, but that's kind of like how I feel. When I was young, I was just intrigued by a lot of things. Drawing, and drawing really kind of led the foundation for me to really like start liking clothes. I wasn't like a super big hype beast. I was just a person that just liked shirts that had like very interesting drawings on it, or maybe very interesting textile work. And so my cousin, he was very big into Pharrell and skateboarding, and so once I moved to San Diego, his big influence on that kind of made us like, dang, well, now we kind of like Babe, now we kind of like ice cream, now we kind of like all these things that almost a lot of elementary and teenage black males kind of gravitate towards. So that was one thing that I was like very interested in, and my cousin had a big influence on me, being older than me. And so then later on in life, once he came to actually live with me, I just wanted to just show him like how good at skateboarding I got. But his idea and his direction was like way different. He was like more on like, you know what, skateboarding is cool, but I want to do this. And I thought I was good at drawing, but he became like very good at drawing. And so we kind of made like a bro pack, a cousin pack that like, you know, we're gonna start a clothing line. And I already had kind of like these clothing line friends that had their own thing going on. So it was dope. I was like, okay, I got these homies over here that has their thing going on. Me and my cousin about to start our thing. And then lo and behold, he moved back to San Diego. It just wasn't a good fit, him staying at my house. That went how it went. We kind of didn't really speak too much after that. Just, you know how life go and family stuff go. We recently connected. I'm kind of going all over the place. But we recently connected, and it was dope. Like, he came out here, and it was just like as if we were young. Like, I took him to like fucking Lamar Park and places, because he never really lived in LA. So,
so you gave him like the LA experience, kind of.
And so then he just was really into clothes and to designing, and then he showed me a couple designing programs, which was Inkscape, and he was like, bro, if you really want to be good at this design and stuff, you need to make at least 100 designs before you even think about making a t-shirt. Because I would make one design and be like, oh dang, I'm about to put this on a t-shirt. Make another quick design on there, like, oh, I'm gonna put this on a t-shirt. He's like, hold on, bro, like, they cool. I'm your cousin, I'm gonna be honest with you, they cool, but just imagine after your 100 design where you will be at. So I kind of took that as face value. I was like, you know what, all these designs is not good enough. I was like my biggest critic in the beginning. So me just playing around on the program, and I really started off kind of, I would say, the non-traditional way of screen printing. Because I started off on the computer, and most people start off with the machine first. And then they get the machine, and then they'll probably like make generic screens with like generic designs on the internet, and then be like, okay, cool, now I'm gonna transition from, now I have the machine, into actually learning the programs and the software. I started off on the software. So I just was learning the program, and then I didn't really know how to format it, but I just knew how to design it. And then from there, I was just designing small stuff like me next to Rihanna, like, you know, like crazy things, like as a kid, just so I could show my friends in school, like, look at this cool stuff I did on Photoshop. Like, make like fake mixtape covers. You know, like me next to celebrities and stuff. And then from there, me just learning the program, me going to college, me wanting to attempt making a clothing line, kind of made all of this that's today.
Wow. So that definitely speaks to like the process of it, on how like one step can lead you to this step, and then that step can take you here, and then fast forward, then you end up in here in the studio where you're doing it yourself. So that's pretty interesting. Thank you for that the background, because sometimes we need that. We need the context of how did this person get to this place. Like sometimes people only see the final outcome, but they don't always see the behind the scenes context that plays a role into everything. So awesome. All right, well, one of my next questions that I want to ask you is, what keeps you inspired when, you know, obviously when you're working on the screen printing, or maybe when you were just now getting ready and starting to learn and maybe didn't fully know how to like operate the whole system, what is something that even now maybe keeps you inspired when you're maybe like, oh, I don't want to do this today, or I don't want to work on it today, but you know that it's going to make you better at what you do, how your cousin was saying, right? Like make your first 100 designs and then start doing more. So what is one thing that might keep you inspired in your craft when you feel like you just need like that extra boost?
One thing that keeps me inspired,
or two or three.
Okay, yeah, because I got a couple. I would say a lot of it is like the possibility of the unknown, of like the possibility of like where could I take this?
Yeah.
How far could this go? You know, and then just thinking on an entrepreneur level of like, okay, if I stop today, that means that everything that I did thus far is wiped away.
Yeah.
You know, it's just gone. It's almost as if I never did it.
Yeah.
So it's like those two things is like a lot that I think I kind of like grasp on when I'm like in moments of like feeling a little down. It's just like, okay, where could I take this? And I'm not even thinking to take it, or I don't care too much for fame. I don't care even too much for notoriety.
Yeah.
For people to even know, like, or give me praise. Oh, what you're doing is right. It's just okay, where could this go? Or where could I lead it? And I think more of like a generic answer too, just like, you know, like the family.
Yeah.
I have a lot of nephews.
Okay.
I'm the middle child, so I got 2 younger sisters, 2 older sisters.
Okay.
And they really kind of look up to me. Even my older ones, they kind of see what I do as like dope.
Yeah.
So it's like I just want to just keep showing them that, okay, your brother's doing some dope stuff.
Yeah.
And then as far as like my nephews, is like I want to show them that, you know, whatever you want to do, you could do too as well.
Yeah.
So it's like those is like things that I kind of try to grasp on when I'm thinking about like, dang, today is a hard day, or do I really want to do this, or should I be doing this, or all those kind of like negative thoughts that we all kind of get brought up inside our own head. So yeah, those is things that I would say that kind of bring me back to staying grounded.
All right, that's definitely good. Not the fear of the unknown of like what could happen. I think sometimes that like, sometimes people are like, that's really exciting, but then sometimes that might make people afraid, like, because they don't know what's going to happen. But it's just like, it's also exciting because you don't know, and it's just like you won't know until you actually try and get there. So I guess it's about finding the balance. So I know sometimes I get a little like fearful of the unknown, but it's also like, no, but you should be excited about it, because it could be something completely new that you're stepping into, but you don't know if you just stay in your fear, you know?
And
so,
and it's like, I learned that things that make me scared, or that I'm scared to take that step to do it, have always ended up with like great things in the end.
Yeah, for sure.
So like I learned to really try to not think about the fear so much about it, and just more so about like that next step, or what could happen with this. Because every time that something's been like, where I'm like, dang, this kind of scary, to me stepping into like this new, and I could give you more of an in-depth example rather than me kind of like being more vague.
Okay.
Like just like little stuff. Like I remember when I was just graduating, I got my first like adult job, and I'm like, dang, well this job over here is like way easier. Like I get to kick it, I get to chill. And I know me going to this next job is more work, more time, more this, more that. And I almost didn't take the job just because I was just scared. But I learned to, like, you know what? Let me just take this job. Let me do it. And it actually was a great job that helped fund a lot of these things that I'm doing now. So in those essences, like, okay, in these moments that I feel like, dang, this is scary, have always been great. And it's always only scary because we know that it's something that's beneficial. You know?
That's true. That's very true. Sometimes it's like we know it could be a good thing and it could be great, and then we still have that fear, and it's like, why? If you know that, like, there's possibility that like 90% of the chance is going to be better than what, you know, it's going to be more good than it might be bad per se. So awesome. Okay. So I'm sure you might get a lot of people who might ask you about, you know, what you do or how to do it, or maybe you talked about, you know, your nephews who kind of look up to you and see what you do. So what kind of advice for somebody who might just be starting off at like the design process, or maybe they've already learned how to design and now their next step is like actually screen printing and making like the product? What is something that you might maybe offer or encourage somebody to maybe like keep in mind as they're learning how to do all of these things?
And you saying like as if they already know how to design, they already know how to do everything. Well,
you might have a person who knows how to like make the design, but they don't know how to do the screen printing, or you might have somebody who just doesn't know how to do the design or the screen printing, but they want to eventually work their way to that. Do you have any advice that you would offer for somebody who is just now starting off? Maybe something that you wish maybe somebody would have told you, or maybe what you would tell yourself back then when you were just starting off, looking at where you're at now.
With people that don't know how to actually design, I always tell them to learn. If they're trying to screen print and they don't know how to design, I always recommend to learn how to design first.
Okay.
Because it's going to save you money in the long run.
Okay.
Learning the computer, because now if you start a business and you're like, okay, you know what? I know how to actually wave the ink onto the t-shirt. Let me go out and try to get a client.
Yeah.
When you go and try to get a client, the first thing that they're going to do is, okay, well, where should I send my design to?
Yeah.
And now if you don't know nothing about designing, then it's kind of like you have to bring somebody in into your own business that's more skilled at designing, which I did for other screen printing places. I actually helped them assist. You know, some of these older people, they don't really know how to work the computer as good as us young people. So I had to go in there and help some of these screen printing places actually with their design work.
Oh, okay.
So I always tell people, start off with the computer.
Yeah.
Even if you want to be a clothing designer, just start off and learn how to use the computer. And if you don't, find somebody that does.
Yeah.
Because it's going to save you time once you actually get into the part of actually putting the ink onto the t-shirt. And then, I mean, if you already know how to design and now it's time for you to actually screen print on shirts, I would just offer the advice to buy a screen printing machine that has 4 heads, like the one that I got, and that has microregressions on it. Okay. Where like you can actually manipulate the screen.
Okay.
In that way that you're saving time. And that's just something that luckily one of the guys who I was going to get my merch printed through before I actually jumped into it told me.
Okay.
He gave me that advice. And I still went the opposite way of, you know what, I'm going to still go buy this cheap machine that doesn't have microregressions, that maybe doesn't have 4. And I end up losing in the end. And it's like, you pay for your mistakes. Like, I bought a machine that wasn't as great as this one, and I tried to use it and I failed miserably, and I had to buy this one, but it's a part of the journey and the process.
Definitely.
So just buy the right machine and listen to people if they are offering you advice on what machines that they feel is better.
Yeah.
And get machines with warranties.
Yeah. Ooh, that's important.
Yeah, get machines with warranties.
I'm pretty sure these machines are not cheap. Yeah. So getting a warranty on it is
but
definitely.
Like you said, like if you try and cut corners, then you end up having to pay more, because then you bought the cheap one, now you're buying the expensive one when you could have just bought the expensive one.
Yeah. Exactly. And I was there. Yeah, I was there. I was in here trying to make that machine work. And if you don't have the right tools, the job is like 10 times harder. You get the right tools, the job is easier.
Yeah. Get the right tools.
Get the right tools. Find a space to, you know. if you're still living at home, if your parents allow you to transform the garage into a workspace, that's always dope. I'm a big person on trying to cut corners, trying to find the cheapest route. I wouldn't say, since I'm inside a storage unit, for the next person to, dang, I need to be in a storage unit too. Like, no, whatever is like most cost efficient for you, you know?
Exactly.
And then just keep in mind that you're using paint, so you're gonna get messy. I have paint splatters on the floor, so if your people's is not cool with that, then you might have to get a space like this, but don't rush it. Don't try to get nothing too crazy.
For sure. I was gonna say that because you didn't start in the storage space. Like, you started in your home space, and then you realize, okay, maybe this space is not as fitting for my needs, so let me seek something else. But you know, you had that trial and error process to figure out, like, okay, maybe I need a storage space. So okay, this is good. So I want to ask you, one of the other questions that I ask the people who I always bring on is,
can you say that again? One of the other questions.
I'm like, wait. So one of the other questions that I ask people when I bring them on is like, when you think about who you are, maybe as a person or as an artist, how would you describe yourself? Or how would you want other people, maybe, like, when they think of who you are, how would you want other people to describe you? So you could answer it either way. It's like, however, 3 words that maybe come to your mind when you think about yourself, or maybe how you as a artist makes you feel, or 3 words that describe how you would want people to express the way that you show up, like, in the world, if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay.
It makes perfect sense.
Okay.
How I want people to perceive me and how I try to put myself out there, I feel like I'll be trying to do the same. It's just hard working.
Yeah.
I always want to just come off as somebody that I didn't just get it handed to me.
True.
That I actually worked hard for these things that I got. And if you really know, like, my full in-depth story, like, I worked very hard to make sure that I tried to do the right thing to make sure that I get the results that I'm getting in the step today. So hard work, and I'll just say kind. Like, I think in this world,
a long way, for sure.
Yeah, you know, and I think inside this world, and I got this really from my grandma. She was just a very nice lady, and I was very close to my grandma. Unfortunately, she passed away, but she was just a very kind person no matter the circumstances, and she always used to tell me stuff like, don't let the world change you, be the change in the world. So I kind of take that as face value, and even when people are rude or nasty or mean, I still try to be kind. I still try to think positive. And I think being a positive person, being kind, being hardworking has led to all good opportunities being set in front of me. Because now when I jumped into business, now that I'm able to be perceived as somebody that's easygoing and easy to talk to and kind and positive, I have been able to get more orders. For me, even being only in business for, I say, like, a little less than a year now, or maybe even at just cutting a year now inside this screen printing business. So those things kind of help push me as far as just being a good person in general, not even for no gain. But me being a good person in general has always helped get gain in any business. You know, in any business that you're in, you want people to make sure that you are doing the most that you could do for them. You know, if you come off as rude, as nasty, as mean, especially in a business setting, you're not going to last too long, at least in my opinion.
True. Yeah, I like that emphasis on kindness, because you're right, we do live in a world, especially these days, where it seems like, you know, any certain interaction can almost, like, it's like you have to be mindful of how you want to be within the world, like, even before you go out into the world, because there's always going to be people that maybe as you're driving or as you're waiting for your order in line somewhere, like, somebody's gonna, like, trigger you, like, or something, and it is very difficult not to let the world change you, and especially when you do have a kind heart and a big heart. But to your point, kindness does get you so much farther. A lot of people think that kindness is like a weakness, and that people who are kind get taken advantage of. But I'm like, I'm a kind person, and I feel like I don't. I feel like that, how you said it, like, propels you forward, and it brings, opens up doors of opportunity by just being kind. So kindness goes a long way.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
I was just about to say, just kind of piggyback on what you're saying, like, be kind, but don't be foolish.
True. True.
Like,
there's a balance.
Yeah, and I mean, and business is business. I'm not kind enough to where I'm like, oh, well, I'll do all these shirts for you for free. Like, no.
For sure.
Like,
not.
we still have to have still have to have like a business agreement, and we have to be smart and logical about this, because if I get what you're saying. Sometimes kind people can get taken advantage of.
Yeah. Just
because you are nice and you got a big heart. But the thing that I see with people that I first see that I'm like, okay, this person kind of feel like they taking advantage of me a little bit, or I feel like they kind of taking my kindness as like a weakness or something. It just cancels them out in the end, because then I'm not gonna rock with you no more.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's good for me.
Yeah.
Like, like, okay, it's like a friend. Okay, yeah, you needed $10 or $20 and I helped you out.
Yeah.
And you say you'll pay me back, and now you didn't pay me back. I just know I don't have to loan you no money no more.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's cool, because that $20 was nothing to me.
Yeah.
But now I know the relationship is not of what I thought it would be.
Yeah, and it helps weed the people out, so you can make space for like other people to come in.
That's genuine.
Reciprocate. Yep. Very good. Very good. All right. I'm trying to see if there's any other questions that I usually ask. I asked about. Okay, so as we close, something that I also like to offer and encourage people to think about is like, what is a message? I know we talked about words that you feel like you would want people to think about when they think about you, but if you like, okay, for example, I have a tattoo right here that says all you can take with you is what you give away. So like for me, that's like my reminder of like,
okay,
when my time comes, I want people to remember me like by the love that I gave and the kindness that I gave and just who I was, because I feel like that, even when you're no longer physically here, that's kind of what carries along with you. So what is like a message that you kind of live life by, or a message that maybe you would want to share with the world through, whether it be your art or in your screen printing, or whether it be just in you and how you live in general?
All right, you got me with that one. All right,
it's like one of my deep questions.
All right, say it one more time for me.
Yeah, so like, if you have some people, they're like, my main message in life, the anything I do is just to encourage people to believe in themselves and create the life they want to live. Like,
okay,
sometimes that's people's message, right? Like, their intention with everything that they do is like they want to encourage somebody in some way, somehow. So my question to you is, do you have like a message that you want to share with people, or that that you want like to share through your art and through your craft and creativity? Like something that you would want that maybe people to gain, like.
Yeah, I'm trying not to be vague with it. I'm trying not to be like, there's
no wrong or like right answer, no wrong. It's just really just what
am I giving out to the world?
Yeah, or just a message. Right. You know how Nipsey is like, continue the marathon, right?
Oh, you
see what's on your shirt.
Imagination is the highest kite one can fly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be that too. Like, I like that. But I when I think of like things that I'm trying to give, I always try to just think back to the youth. I don't know why.
The youth.
And it's just more so just kind of similar to what you were saying with the other person. Just like believe in yourself.
Yeah.
And just, I say it a lot, be the change in the world, don't let the world change you. But mostly just to the kids and the youth and stuff is just that I want to be a testimony that anything is possible.
Yeah, for sure.
And that anything that you want, you could get. Cause I'm a small kid. Mm-hmm. I was a small kid out of living in my high school years in Victorville, California, in an area where it's not a lot of people that believe in themselves, and a lot of people pursuing dreams that they wanted to pursue. Mm-hmm. And I came and I did everything that I wanted to do, and it wasn't easy, and I took probably the hardest road there was possible. And I just want to give to the children that are coming from the same place that I came from, or even worse, because I'm not here to say that I had it the hardest. I know there's a lot of kids out there that had it harder than me, and that's done got through a lot more harder things than me, and for me to give them a perspective of no matter what circumstance is in front of you, no matter what obstacle is in front of you, you can triumph past it, and you can be the best version. And that dream that you had when you were a little kid sitting in your room in your small town or big town, wherever you're from, you can make that possible.
Yeah.
Through any obstacle that's in front of you.
Yes. I love that.
It's gonna die.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay. Okay. Well, that was great. Before we end, can you just tell the people where they can find you if they want to connect with you to get shirts screen printed or something designed? Where can they connect with you?
Okay. If you want to get shirts screen printed, just go ahead and message me at relaxstudio.la. You can book a consultation right on my website. That's relaxstudiola.com. Or you could DM me on my personal page, which is Amir Halim, which is AmirHClim. And yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being with us today and for being open and willing to talk to me about your creative process and how you plan to prosper. It's been another episode of the Creative Highlight Series. I'm your girl, Jordan Danielle. And until next time, peace.